Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Wan Ilhami Farhana binti Wan Muhammad Nazri. My magic number is 2025366379. My lecturer name is Nur Maziana binti Hassan. This is mark form for rubric of slide presentation, and this is mark form for rubric of individual presentation. This is list of contents. Which is we have introduction, definition of culture, key elements of culture, importance of culture, conclusion, and reference. Introduction. Throughout the history of anthropology, scholars have repeatedly reshaped and redefined the concept of culture to reflect the dominant concerns, values, and intellectual climates of their respective times, and it is almost certain that they will continue to do so in the future. Given this continual evolution, there is little to be gained from rigid attempts to prescribe a single fixed meaning for the term. What is important is to recognize that, however it is defined, the idea of culture is characterized by a very high degree of abstraction. Culture is not something tangible or visible that we can simply encounter on the ground. Okay, continue to the introduction. What we actually find are individuals and communities whose lives unfold throughout space and time, navigating environments that are filled with personal and collective meanings. These individuals use language, material objects, and symbolic systems not only to carry out their daily activities but also to interact, build relationships, and express their understanding of the world. In their conversation, people continuously create and extend metaphorical networks, weaving increasingly intricate. However, what we do not find are perfectly bounded, homogeneous bodies of knowledge, belief, and custom, neatly packaged and fully shared by all members of a group. Life and culture are far messier and more fluid than such models suggest. The idea that humanity could be divided into a collection of isolated culture capsules, each existing independently and available for objective anthropological examination, has been thoroughly discredited. This shift in thinking has occurred alongside a growing recognition that human societies have always been interconnected, not only in today's age of rapid transport and communication but throughout the entirety of human history. Thus, the traditional image of isolated, self-contained cultures has been revealed to be largely a product of the Western anthropological imagination rather than an accurate reflection of reality. In light of this understanding, it is more realistic and appropriate to say that people live culturally, constantly creating, negotiating, and transforming their ways of life, rather than living within static, bound cultures. Definition of culture. Culture is often thought of as fine arts like a Monet painting, a Mozart symphony, or ballet performance like Swan Lake. In everyday language, culture usually refers to the arts of current trends. However, in anthropology, culture is understood more broadly. British anthropologist Edward Taylor defined culture as a complex whole that includes knowledge, beliefs, arts, law, morals, customs, and other skills acquired by people as members of society. This early definition focused on the specific traits of cultural groups. Taylor believed that all cultures progress throughout stages, with 19th century European culture being the highest form. Franz Boas later challenged this idea, arguing that cultures develop uniquely based on their histories, not in a fixed order. He introduced the idea of studying culture as a whole system of shared symbols, ideas, and values. Anthropologists now often distinguish between Big C culture and Little c culture. The Big C refers to the universal concept of culture as a shared human experience, while the Little c refers to the specific custom and traditions of particular groups, such as marriage practices or food habits. A modern definition by Brave and Nelson describes culture as a set of beliefs, practices, and symbols that are learned and shared, forming a complete and integrated system that shapes how people see the world and live their lives. There are several key characteristics of culture. Culture is learned, meaning people are not born with it but acquire it through enculturation. It is shared, though individuals may still differ based on age, gender, or status. Culture is also symbolic, using signs and symbols to represent meanings like a stop sign or a controversial flag. Finally, culture is holistic, integrated, dynamic, and adaptive, meaning it connects all parts of life, constantly evolves, and helps societies respond to change. Material culture and key characteristics. Material culture. Material culture refers to the physical objects, artifacts, and items that people in a society create, use, and attach meaning into in their daily lives. This includes everything from tools, clothing, and buildings to art, technology, and monuments. These tangible items reflect a society's values, beliefs, history, and way of life. Key characteristic: tangible and physical. Material culture consists of objects that can be seen, touched, and used, distinguishing it from non-material culture, which includes intangible elements like beliefs, values, and tradition. Reflects culture values. The object of material culture often symbolizes or expresses to belief, status, and identity of a group. Variety of forms. Examples including clothing, architecture, tools, technology, art, vehicles, and everyday household items. Cultural significance. Studying material culture helps anthropologists, historians, and sociologists understand how people live, what they value, and how their societies function, both in the past and present. This is example ancient artifacts such as pottery, jewelry, sculptures, and coins. This example for modern objects like smartphone, car, and furniture. This example for cultural symbols including religious icons, natural monuments, and traditional craft. Conclusion. In essence, culture is a rich and multifaceted concept that profoundly shapes human experience, identity, and social organization. It encompasses both material and non-material elements, each playing a crucial role in defining that way people live, think, and interact. Material culture with its tangible objects and artifacts such as tools, clothing, art, and architecture serve as a visible and lasting record of society's creativity, technological advancement, and values. These physical items not only fulfill practical needs but only carry symbolic meanings that reflect cultural beliefs, social structures, and historical contexts. Understanding material culture is essential because it provides concrete evidence of how societies functioned in the past and continue to evolve in the present. It allows anthropologists, historians, and scholars from various disciplines that reconstruct lifestyle, traditions, and worldviews that might otherwise be lost or forgetting. Moreover, material culture often acts as a bridge between generations, preserving heritage and fostering a sense of identity and continuity within communities. Beyond material culture, the broader concept of culture includes language, customs, rituals, moral codes, and knowledge systems that are transmitted socially and shape collective behavior. Together, these elements influence how individuals perceive reality, solve problems, and relate to others both within their own group and across cultural boundaries. By studying culture in its entirety, we gain a deeper appreciation of human diversity and creativity. It helps us recognize that while people may differ in their customs and artifacts, there is a shared human drive to create meaning, build community, and adapt to changing circumstances. This understanding promotes empathy, tolerance, and respect for cultural difference, which are increasingly important in our interconnected and globalist world. In conclusion, culture is not just a backdrop to human life, but a dynamic and integral force that shapes every aspect of our existence. Exploring both its material and immaterial dimensions enrich our knowledge of humanity's past and present, and guides us toward a more inclusive and harmonious future. This is my reference for this topic. Thank you. That's all from me.